Greetings, fellow dragon fruit lovers. This is Paul, and today I thought I'd share some fruit that is set this season. Now, this is Yala number 1, or Yala, and it came from Paul Thompson, and definitely has Ocamponus traits. I'm really excited to try this red-fleshed fruit. And we have so many. It's going to be out of hand here in a month. That is Connie Meyer. Here are some Leo's dragons. Now, Leo Manuel, my friend, had over 20 pots of this hybrid, and there's several variants. Some are red-fleshed, some are magenta. That is Unknown Road, which is a great white flesh self-sterile. And then here are some more of Leo's dragons. I have several. They're alternating pots all the way up the hill, and you can just see I moved them just 2 months ago, and the stress really resulted in them producing quite a bit of flowers and fruit. Now, one interesting thing about this plant that I'm evaluating, here's another Leo's dragon, is that the flower is fully open before 8 p.m. So you can see that here, it's really beautiful. It's a huge bloom, all at the same night. So these fruit are ripening just so nicely. Now, this is Danny's Pride of Fallbrook. It produces a magenta fleshed fruit. It's Brixing in the mid-18s. Now, here's something really interesting. I tested for self-fertility, but I didn't bag it, and it produced this really small fruit. And here's another one I tested for self-fertility, and another small fruit. So I find that really interesting. However, I cross-pollinated with about 10 varieties, and these fruit have are much larger, as you can see. So I'm gonna have plenty of Danny's Pride of Fallbrook soon to try. Now, this is one of Leo's hybrids. He hybridized Jim Nitzel Fence with Rixford. So I'm not sure if that's what Paul Thompson used, but this was from Jim Nitzel Fence. This is seedling B. And I've had a fruit off of this one, and it was really good. Pink fleshed. Unless it was A, I can't remember. But I'll do a video on it soon. Here is the sister seedling A. And again, I just moved these plants to my yard, and you could see that the stress really promoted them to flower, and they have a bit of chlorosis, but that's going to be okay. Now, here's one of George Emmerich Jr.'s Undatus, GE2. So I'm getting several fruit off of George Emmerich's plants. And then here's an interesting experiment. I'm checking out all the Cetaceous. This is Arizona Purple, which is said to be the same thing as Sugar Dragon, and right now it's looking like it. Here are some Sugar Dragons. This one's probably just about ripe. Danny's Sugar Dragon SD9. And this is Neon. So you can see it here. Now, very interestingly enough, I have Houghton over here, which is the parent plant of Sugar Dragon. And look at the amount of spines. A lot of people are talking about spines on Cetaceous. Look at all those spines. So Houghton has several spines on its branches, or fruit that's set, I should say. I do have a G3 here. Look at that. So I'm excited to try a G3. Some more Neon. And this one is the 3S Red, which could be actually 2S, thanks to Gray Martin's support and background on some of these older varieties. I'm still looking for Punch and 4S, which could very well be the same thing. So I'm gonna keep looking for that. Now, here's an interesting one that's ripe. This is Santa Barbara Red, but there were two from William Chow. And this one is called Santa Barbara Red NSY. I thought it was not self-fertile, but I triple checked, and that's what Leo labeled it, NSY. So I'll compare this to the, what's that called? Santa Barbara Red. I will compare that because I have both. So I'm gonna see if they're the same or different. Now, there is I believe that's Princess of the Night offhand. Bunch of Assunta fruit, Assunta 1. And there's a lot more. Let's see what else. Oh, Kwang Ong Self-Fertile is here. And I ate one last night. It was really good. And I'm still on the fence, literally, to see if this is American Beauty. So with all these fruit, I'll do a nice review on Kwang Ong self-fertile soon. Here is 9S, which was a delicious fruit. I had one last night. 9S, Paul Thompson's 9S, which they say is the same thing as Dark Star. It tasted as delicious as the Dark Star that I have. Now here is one of Leo's hybrids. You can see he used Selenocereus megalanthus and crossed it with Hylocereus costarricensis, and he had around 20 pots. And you can see the subtle differences. Look at this one. This is pot B. The fruit's totally different than the ones I showed you earlier. Here's a different one that's unique in my opinion with it's got a flower bud developing. Then this one is definitely different. It's really spiny. And I'm evaluating all of these, and then this one is my favorite. Look at this beautiful plant. So this is another seedling sister. I'm calling this pot. I don't know offhand. I'm not going to bend down right now. You can see its unique flower buds right there. Look at those. Super cool. And then here's another one. Oh, that was E. This one's F. So there are about 6 sister seedlings or more right now. I'm checking them. Here's another one of Leo's dragons. Actually, all of these are Leo's dragons. And then he did a Hylocereus undatus crossed with G2 and a G2 crossed with Hylocereus undatus. Here is Orton Engelhart, an undatus. I'm really excited to try this historic undatus, this white variety. And then last but not least for today, I have to head to work, is that, look at this one, Kwang's A2 hybrid. So this is from Kwang Ong. You can see it's very, very green. The developing flower. It's very green. And here's another section of the yard. So I guess you could call this part 2 of the summer tour. Now look at Country Roads. It's just beautiful. This is the first flower I've had from it, and it has a really amazing scent. So I'm excited to try Country Roads. Now over here is Maria Fusia. And look at that. It's almost ripe. It's getting there. And this is one I want to use for my breeding program because I crossed Laverne Pink. So Paul's Laverne Pink and Maria Fusia, 2 of my favorite varieties. They taste great, and this one is just over 2 years old, and look at how productive it is. Really, really like this plant a lot. It's been great. It does get a little bit of chlorosis, but not bad. Here is Kaslau, or K. Lots of fruit. Let's see, where's that nice big flower? Here it is. Look at how beautiful this flower is. This is Kaslau, or K. Similar to Lisa and Sabra, but a little different. Now here is a very fast-growing plant. This is Jade Red. It's just over a year old, and it's set 2 fruit. And the flower is absolutely stunning on this one. Look at it. It's a beautiful flower. Now here is Vietnamese Jaina. It's taken a while. It's like 3 years old. And it's finally set some fruit. So I'm excited to try this white flesh fruit to see if it's very good. Here is some Dark Star. And I have 3 sources, and they all seem a little different. So we'll see what happens here, but look at the differences here. So there's this darker green. And then there's this one, which just seems a little bit different to me. So I'm evaluating these, and I'm going to compare them to Paul Thompson's 5S. Now here's another one I really like. I call this the Elk Creek Unknown #1. Look at the bracts on that fruit. I've had this for a few seasons. It's under evaluation, and these fruit are really, really delicious. An interesting shape. They have a lot of long bracts. So I like this one a lot. It's delicious, and it's an unknown. Now this one I like too. I had 2 fruit off of it, and it's a really old Guatemalan variety. It's a no ID. and it's very old. It's from a part of San Diego called Encinitas, and the plant's been there since the late 80s. So you can see the fruit. But it's very similar to typical Guatemalan. Now one of these, I did a cross. Is it this one? And I have an Asunta 2. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to grow the seeds out because I cross-pollinated it with Asunta 2, which should be a really delicious fruit. And the seedlings should be really awesome too, hopefully. See what they do as I grow them out. Now what else do we have here? Here is Soul Kitchen White. You can see how productive this plant is. But it's a white flesh fruit, and it's not the best tasting. I'm going to see if it doesn't really improve or taste better this season, I'm going to pull this one out and replace it with something probably magenta fleshed or something else. Now here is Edgar's Baby. But look at this one. This is Don Burnett's Guatemalan. And I've eaten a fruit already. It was delicious. And here's another one. I'll do a review on that soon. Another Edgar's Baby. Here is Jim Nitzel's Fence. Look at how different that is than the Nitzel fruit, or Neitzel I should say, that I reviewed. So Jim Neitzel Fence is not the same as the Neitzel variety of dragon fruit. Cosmic Charlie, like this fruit. It's a good, delicious variety as well. However, it is self-sterile. What else do we have? Look at this over here. This is K1, a white flesh Dundatus for these two. I pollinated these last night. And this one is Edgar, which I believe is the same thing as red ES1. But we'll see. I think this one had some unique looking flowers. Look at that. It's like 2 and 2, see? So that's Edgar. And again, that's probably the same thing as red ES1, because red ES1 stands for Red Edgar's Seedling number 1. Now here is Linda's Asunta. It's Asunta 2 from Elk Creek Dragon Fruit, and I brought this mother plant home. You can see it has plenty of fruit and some aphids too, so I'll have to spray this. I'll do that today when I come home from work. But it has quite a few fruit, and I'm really excited to try them because I've only had one. It was slightly overripe, but it was very, very sweet and really delicious. Now here is my black dragon. Typical, likes to do 4-sided growth, as you can see. And it topped the trellis, but I don't think I'm going to get a fruit on it this season. But I expect to get one next season. So you can see just how interesting these branches are. Now this is not the same thing as Black Africanus. This is Solenocereus coniflorus crossed with Hylocereus ocamponus. So a very unique plant. Now look at this. This one has been really productive this season, and this is Nicaraguan red. So lots of fruit. I'm gonna have a lot of fruit to eat here soon, huh? Look at that. And even though it's a Nicaraguan red, it's very similar to a Guatemalan. You can see the single spine. It's kind of a telltale sign. And the ribs. The shape of the ribs are kind of heart-shaped. Okay, I think that's about it. Let's see. What's this one? Oh, this one's interesting. This is Pine Island Purple. Got it from Leo. It's probably just like 5S renamed or something. And it is not self-fertile. I tried to set fruit on with its own pollen, and it failed. And last but not least, look at this little Shayna. So lots of new varieties for me to taste. I'm really excited. And that's what it's looking like down in the bottom section here of the collection. All right, give us a like and a subscribe. Thanks for your time. Have yourself a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and take care. So one more look at that beautiful country rose. Look at that.